Okay, now I just start recording our board meeting.
Well, thank you, Principal Chong, for excellent technical skills and providing our agenda on screen. I want to welcome not only our board members, but our guests as well, and parents that will be joining us either now or during our meeting. I want to call to order then the Irvine International Academy monthly board meeting for the date of March 30th, 2021. We're going to take roll and acknowledge a quorum. I do expect at least one, maybe two more board members to join, but we can go ahead and continue on with our quorum. To begin our roll call, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Doug Hewson, serving as board chairman. And let's go around next with a roll call. Dr. Jolene Smith, if you'd acknowledge by saying here.
Here.
And we acknowledge your presence. Thank you, by the way. And then board member Glenn Rogers, would you acknowledge your presence as well?
Here.
And thank you. And it's great to hear your voice again. Looking forward to our conversation tonight. Any other board members that I'm unaware of that maybe are in on a phone call but not showing up in our participant list as a video?
We have our board Miller here.
We have Miller Zhang. I see Miller. Miller, would you acknowledge your presence if you can unmute for a second and just say hello or here?
Die.
Wonderful.
He's speaking Mandarin.
Give us the interpretation, Principal Chong.
He's here.
Here. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
We do have a good sense of humor on our board, which is really nice. With that, then, I want to acknowledge a couple of parents as well. We won't have you share your name at this time, but we are going to open up for comments at this time. I'll allow a few moments for Principal Chong to acknowledge you. And if you have a comment, please send him a quick text using our chat feature. He'll acknowledge you, and then we'll hear from you. And about 3 minutes is what we allocate per parent. It could be a question or it could be a comment. And so let's begin our public comments, and then we'll follow that with a Pledge of Allegiance. Another about 30 seconds I want to allocate because it's a new process for some parents. We also have allocated at the end of our meeting another public comments opportunity, recognizing that some parents may join us a little late. So if no parents at this time, we're going to go ahead and move on then. And let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Some of you, I normally put a United States flag on the screen. I don't have that at the moment, but we nonetheless can make our pledge to the flag. And so you cover your heart and join me. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. And on then, I would like to invite an update from our superintendent, Dr. Michael Scott, and he'll introduce guests at the appropriate time as well. And I believe we'll have Principal Chong share with us also during this time. But Superintendent Scott, thank you. I'm going to go on mute for a moment because I have a lawn care company that will make too much noise in the background. So share with us, Dr. Scott.
Okay, and so we're going to approve last minutes later.
We need to approve the minutes.
We need to approve the minutes, guys.
Oh.
So Doug, we should approve the minutes.
Okay, I'll begin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. My mistake, guys. Each of the board members received copies of the previous meeting in February's minutes. Those who are in attendance we'll have the opportunity to approve. Could I have a motion to approve minutes from last meeting, please?
I make a motion to approve last board meeting's minutes.
And a second?
Yeah, this is Glenn. Second.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, and appreciate that, Glenn Rogers. And so all in favor signify by lifting a hand or saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Now our update. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I'm so excited about what we're going to hear.
Hey, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Michael Scott. I'm the superintendent. I'm sure glad to know that all of our families are watching and more people. This is exciting. Currently, I just went over our numbers. We have 370 enrolled students. We have 14 spaces still available in 5th grade. So if anybody's going in 5th grade that you know of, they'll want to become involved with the school. There's 14 remaining spaces. We have almost 100 on the waiting list to get in. And we appreciate those as much as anybody because together, all the parents are a great voice in Irvine, including those on the waiting list. And that helps us prepare our talks with the district. So the first thing is I've been on the phone with some of our family members, and it looks like we're gearing up for the next stage of a working school. And that is our fundraising. There will be an announcement soon about a gift to our school. And we're going to use that as a starting point for our fundraising campaign. I'll give more details on that later, but I'm very excited about that possibility. And we've kind of waited for the fundraiser until we heard more about the Prop 39, which is the faculty use by a school district. As everyone knows, we felt that there were 2 sites available for our school. And the district is working with us to make available the site at 4782 Karen Ann Lane. It's a former school that they've used for other purposes, and we'll be moving into that site beginning July 1st. And so that opens up other possibilities now that we're confirming this. And one of those is somebody I've asked to come talk tonight, Douglas Freeman, because the Orange County Music and Dance is a tremendously important part of what our vision is for the school. We're a multiple intelligence school, and children learn in different ways. And I'm going to quote Douglas Freeman. He says, now your school will do 3 languages, English, Mandarin, and music. So Douglas, can you go ahead and share more about your program?
I will, Michael. Thank you. And by the way, there's probably a 4th language because the dancers would say that dance is also an international language. So I'll let you use that the next time you'd like. So I am particularly excited about being invited to speak with you because I think what you are creating is nothing short of spectacular and groundbreaking. The first time I heard about it was from my colleague and co-founder, Charlie Zhang. Charlie is probably not as well known to many of you, but I'll bet you made him wealthy. I know I personally did. He was the person who created the Pickup Sticks restaurant. And given the volume of Chinese food that I purchased over those years, I know I pushed him over the edge and made him successful. Charlie is an amazing entrepreneur. He created a nonprofit community performing arts school to make sure that kids could study and follow their passion wherever it may lead them and as far as it would take them. And I've had the privilege of launching it with him and been running the school ever since. Pre-COVID, we had about 470 kids. It's down now to more like 250 because of COVID, but they're coming back pretty quickly. We have 45 teachers. We teach both Western music and Eastern music. So we teach Guzheng and Aru, and we've had Chinese dance as well as Western dance. We understand the language of music and dance, and we appreciate the international perspective that you bring to this. Just to give you an idea what we are working together with Dr. Scott and the chairman, Doug Hewson, and of course the principal, Stephen Chuang, to provide in-class music and dance instruction every week and after-school programming in music and dance that will lead ultimately to creating dance ensembles, a band, the whole works. We'll have it all built out in the next several years as your kids grow into these grades. This summer, we are going to offer a summer school program for you in music and dance from 3.5 years of age all the way up to 12 years. And of course, everything is age related and specific. We'll be posting that information for you. It will be held at our school, which is exactly 12 minutes away from the school, El Camino Real School, at which the Irvine International Academy will be housed. So it's very convenient. And I am really excited to say also that for the IIA students, you'll all get a discount. You'll get priority and discounts, about 20% discount on the tuition. We are going to make this really a fun experience for the kids, and partly it's about teaching them the music and giving them exposure to dance and so on, but it's also partly getting to know their new classmates. And we think this is going to be a great opportunity to break the ice. They'll know each other by the time they get into class in August. So we will provide you materials within the next week or so. So you'll have all the information you need in terms of timing and costs and what are the different programs. And if anyone has any questions about the academic program or the after school program, don't hesitate to contact us. Dr. Scott and Stephen and Doug have our contact information. I will personally make myself available. Our head of music and head of dance are really excited about this as well, and they will make themselves available. We'll invite parents over to do a tour. We are wide open, by the way. You heard, of course, that we're now in the orange tier. So we have group lessons in person. We have private lessons in person. By the way, we're an all Steinway school. All our pianos are Steinway or Steinway designed. We have a 21,000 square foot building that we own free and clear. It's quite a school. You'll be impressed by the facility, but you'll love your teachers. So with that, I'll just pass, and I'm going to hang on to any questions that might come up. But it is a genuine thrill. By the way, it's such a thrill that my son has enrolled his 5-year-old daughter, and my son is fluent in Mandarin as well. So he's all on board. He and his beautiful wife are fully supportive of this school, and I'm excited now. I'm grandpa watching my granddaughter at your school. That'll be very cool.
Mr. Freeman, thank you for sharing that. I wonder if we could hear from some trustees. This is a unique opportunity to have the founder of the Orange County Music and Dance School with us. Any questions or comments? I wouldn't mind hearing from Glenn Rogers also just on his impressions, but trustees, feel free to speak out now, either directly to Douglas Freeman or pose a question.
Yeah, so Doug, this is Glenn. I had an opportunity to go by the school yesterday. It's an impressive site, right? So I'm happy Michael and Stephen were able to secure it. It's got great facilities around it, and it's soccer field, everything else that goes with having a school. But I think this will be a great opportunity for us to work with Doug and his team to further educate our children that will be attending. Excited.
Thank you. I saw the school. I walked through the facility, and it's going to be great. I think the kids are going to love it. The teachers are going to love it. There's tons of room to grow. So I think you found a nice home.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. And we understand too, Douglas, if schedule or family is calling, if we see your little picture drop off the call, we'll understand that you're tending to some very important things, but we really are grateful for this friendship, partnership, and then you taking the time to introduce yourself to our parents. There'll be many who watch this not only now, but later on our recording. And so thank you. Can you share your website just for background information?
So the website is www.ocmusicdance, all one word, ocmusicdance.org. My email is doug@ocmusicdance.org.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Stay as long as you like, but you're not obligated to stay a minute more.
Thank you.
Just to add a comment, Douglas, Mr. Freeman has also opened up the summer program to those on our wait list as part of our school.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, thank you for that gracious inclusion. Well, feel free then, Dr. Scott and Principal Chong, to continue on with our update. We took care of A, B, and letter F. Let's hear C, D, and E from our agenda.
Well, there are, the school has a great budget for the average daily attendance, which is the money we receive for every student. Now is the time where we're trying to add to that budget to really enhance the school. And the great thing about a charter school is that the money will stay with your children. It's not going to go and support another school program or a upper grade high schools program. It's going to be with our school. So the federal grant we've turned in, it's a $600,000 grant to start off charter schools, help in the purchase of one-time purchases, electronic equipment, science equipment, books, training. And that has been turned in on time, and we're looking forward to an April 23rd announcement.
Exciting. And again, I want to give permission to our trustees. At any moment, normally we would be in proximity to each other and see each other signal the opportunity to speak, but just speak right up. Even if you find yourself feeling like you might be interrupting someone, don't feel shy about that because I may not see you acknowledge, but I do want to hear any comments as they come from you or questions.
Okay. Stephen, would you like to talk about, and I'd like to compliment Stephen. He has worked so hard in bringing us such high quality teachers. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on the interviews that he conducts. He has a great ability to get the teachers to really share what's inside their hearts and their minds. Very enlightening. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Dr. Scott, and good evening, board trustees. It's my honor to share the update regarding our teacher hiring. So far, for the year of 2021 and 2022, we will have 12 classes, and so our plan is to hire 6 Mandarin teachers and 6 English teachers. And originally, when we proposed our petition, there are many concerns regarding, hiring Mandarin teachers. because most people know that it would be a big challenge. But for us, luckily so far we have hired 5 Mandarin teachers out of 6. So currently we are looking for a great candidate for the 3rd grade Mandarin teacher, and we'll be conducting more interview tomorrow. And for our English teachers, we have more than 30 applications. So so far, we are able to find our 1st grade English teacher, 3rd and 4th and 5th grade English teachers. So we still have vacancies for 2 kinders and 1 2nd grade English teachers. So we should have more update next week after we conduct more interviews this week. So thank you for your support.
I want to thank the board members who have sat in on interviews as well. Trustee Edward Watson is not with us tonight, but he's been faithful, diligent, and I know Dr. Smith, you've done a lot of the coaching as well with Michael Scott and Glenn Rogers. I can't remember if you had the opportunity to sit in on these interviews. They're thorough, they are enjoyable, but they're rigorous, and it's a really great set of questions that each candidate must answer, and really is bringing the best candidates straight to the top. Any comments on that from our trustees before we hear about the exciting application for CD revolving loan? That sounds like finances, but I like the people part quite a bit. Any comments, trustees?
After me, Doug.
Okay, let's move on then and hear the update on the California Department of Education revolving loan. Would that be Dr. Scott?
Yes. The federal government made available money for new schools as a loan. So they fund it, and the California Department of Education operates it. And it's a $250,000 loan that's repaid over 5 years at no interest, $50,000 a year. And the point is that a charter school has a lot of startup costs. Between now and when school starts, when children actually sit in a seat, and then another month after that, do you receive your funding? So this whole period before that can be a cash crunch. We've had our chairman, Doug Hewson, has arranged for one loan that has moved us past several things, but this $250,000 loan will help us prepare the campus to open starting in July and classes in August. So that application, we're halfway through it. We have a great back office accounting service that will help us with the financial numbers. And we'll be applying beginning April 1st, and the closing date for that is April 30th.
Thank you. And I know you give quite a bit of attention with our accounting firm, Athena Accounting, in laying out our cash flows and just demonstrating a lot of diligence there. And so thank you for that. That completes, at least at this moment, our updates from superintendent and principal. We are going to move on in a moment to our consent calendar. But prior to that, I always love to show some deference to our parents because we're here for you, you know, and even if it's a little out of protocol, we want to give preference. And Mr. Tran posed a question, and we may not have the answer now, but I want to note it. And let's answer as much as we can because we're moving forward very quickly through our agenda. I appreciate that. The question posed is threefold, and I want to see if Principal Chung or Superintendent Scott remembers if we engaged in these conversations during our tour. The question is, will Irvine Unified School District building maintenance be responsible for updating the fillers regularly? I'm not sure what.
Filters, probably.
What's that?
Filters, probably.
Oh, filters. That's genius, of course. It makes sense with the second question, which is, did IUSD update the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems? at the El Camino Real Elementary site? Second question. And then last question, who will be responsible for disinfecting the school? Our staff or the staff of IUSD? Let's take them if we know these answers. If you do, just jump in. Who would be responsible for filter replacements during the year? That's very similar to disinfection. Whose side of the equation does that land on? Have we discussed that yet with them?
You know, I hate to comment on something we didn't directly discuss, so
Okay.
I'll not do it now.
We'll come back to
Ultimately,
those.
though, we will be responsible for the condition of the school regardless of what IUSD does or doesn't do. We'll be sure it's very safe for our kids.
Yeah, and you've expressed our priority on a safe, physically safe and emotionally safe school. So we know that it'll get done, Mr. Tran, but we'll get back to you with specifics so you know who's doing it and who's responsible. Ultimately, we hold the responsibility. How about this HVAC update? Does anyone know if they completed that?
I don't know, but they did speak specifically about HVAC system, that the building was created for that system, because we wanted to maybe make some adjustments inside the building. So apparently it's kept up at this point, but we will have to get definite answers to these questions.
Yeah, great insight. Thank you for submitting those. The system has a forced air system that's powered by an exterior plant. And so we'll give you some specifics. Thanks for bringing those up. Wonderful. Well, on our consent calendar now, as we move forward, we have 7 items we're going to talk about. We're going to do them a little different than we have in the past because I prefer this logic that I shared with the board. We'll introduce the topic and a motion that will be made. Then we'll go ahead and discuss it, and then we'll ask for a motion to approve, a second, and then we'll take our vote. Before we were holding discussion back till after the motion, and it was a little clunky. And so if everybody is okay with us going forward this way, I think it has a better logic to it, even though we may offend Robert's Rules of Orders slightly. So the first,
Doug, before we start, can we go ahead and approve the minutes from last time, or did we do that?
We did that already.
I had forgotten, but then Trustee Glenn.
Oh, Glenn, and then what was the vote?
I'm
4-0.
Yeah. So
That's correct. Yes.
we're going to
Great.
have the opportunity to talk about some negotiations that our superintendent is having with Power School, which is a provider of student information systems. Michael, you want to give an overview, and then I'll describe a motion following that.
Okay. Power School is one of several companies that tracks the students' attendance reporting to the state. And so it's really built for school districts even. So we're, as a charter school, we're not as large, so we pay a little bit of a premium in that respect. But as we grow larger, the same program will work. So the subscription is one cost, $3,552. Hosting, $400, and a subscription is $1,500, for a total of $5,452. Then there will be the training and deployment system for our office people and administration to be up to date on, so that every morning when the kids take enrollment, numbers are entered into the system and recorded. The third item is training services, but we're going to be able to save $2,700 for training because we're using another company that works throughout the year. So Power System comes in, or Power School comes in, sets you up and says, here's how you do it. But 6 months later, when you finally need one of those obscure things you didn't know about, they're not there without a premium to come back and train. So the second company is our day-to-day, month-to-month training, and they will help us tweak the system to create the reports that we need to see. And those that are submitted to the board members for their viewing and submitted to the state. And this has to be done perfectly. This is how the school receives its ADA money from the state.
Wonderful. I would imagine some trustees have some questions. Since I'm still on the microphone, I'll launch first. Which of these expenses are annual and one time, or are they all annual?
Well, the deployment is one time. And I'm not sure about the top part of the hosted subscription and certificate, if that's a repeating item.
Okay.
I'll have to confirm that.
Other observations or questions from our trustees?
Yeah, so Doug, I took a look at the contract and the statement of work today, right? And the website and kind of the architecture and the software and what they do. And they're seem to be a leader in the marketplace, right? They're handling 50 million students, right? So 80 countries, right? So they got a good footprint, right? I took a look at their leadership team, what they do. It sounds like we're doing a direct procurement to this company versus going out to a formal RFP or RFI and getting multiple bids, right? So that's a question for one. And two, in the statement of work, I saw that there was a $15,000 fee. I assume it's to a consultant firm that actually specializes in the software that will help set us up for a one-time cost, but that was a question I had.
Great insight. And I know that as Michael's continuing conversations, we'll be able to get some clarity on those. Who else? Any other board members have interest in particular aspects or questions related to this? We're only in negotiation stage. We'd obviously have an opportunity as a board before committing in a contractual agreement with them.
And Doug, just to answer quickly, there is another system. There's two systems that are the most recommended, PowerSchool being one, and the other one, Axis, AEISIS. But that one is twice as much. And PowerSchool is highly recommended by many, as Glenn showed. And I just wanted to mention, it's excellent, Glenn, that you're asking these questions and putting this out. For those who don't know, he is our treasurer, a very experienced businessman, and really appreciate this insights. And that is correct what Chairman Doug Hewson just said, is that these are still in negotiations. We haven't signed the contract yet. So there is time to check on other aspects.
Okay.
And so I'm going to craft a motion statement, and then I'll see if I can have a board member make motion. The motion would be worded this way. I'd ask somebody to move that we charter our superintendent to continue negotiations with PowerSchool to come to a best and final offer and present it to the board for the purposes of managing our student information system, and most importantly, reporting that would lead to then the average daily attendance dollars. So we'll shorten that in a format, but that's what I'm asking for a motion on, the superintendent continuing negotiations.
Yeah, I second that to move forward. Just one question I had, Doug, is it just for attendance, or are we using it for grading and so the parents can see that information too? Is it just for attendance that we're using it for?
No, it's for the report cards too.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a full spectrum student information system, is that correct?
Yeah, and this system has been widely used by many school districts, and most of our teachers we hire
Okay.
are familiar with PowerSchool system.
So Stephen, did you use this system at your prior school?
My prior school, we use Aries,
Okay.
but later they changed to PowerSchool last
They did.
year.
So you have experience with the software and the system?
Yeah, I have some experience.
Okay.
With PowerSchool, yes.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion then to go ahead and ask our superintendent, Dr. Scott, to continue his investigation on our SIS system and to present to us then the overall bid for that time.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. And I think, Glenn, did you want to repeat what you said? I think you were willing to second.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, thank you. All in favor then signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And so the motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Scott. Next, can I see the, oh, okay, this is our policy. Principal Chung, did you want to describe our enrollment and grade placement policy? This will follow with a motion as well, but would you share with us a little bit about the background and the necessity to have a grade placement policy?
Yeah, thank you, board trustees and Dr. Scott. So we do realize we have, several parents asking for placing their kids in different grade level, which is different from their school age. But because Irvine International Academy is a brand new school, and we do have agreement with the Orange County Department of Education. So parents will have to be patient and wait until our school opens. And normally the protocol to evaluate students' grade level assignment would be our classroom teachers do the evaluations, and based on the observations regarding our students' academic and social-emotional skills, then make suggestions or recommendation. And then the school principal will host a formal meeting with the parents to let them know the results of the evaluation. Then the school principal will make a recommendation or share the result of the evaluation with the superintendent, and the superintendent will take this to the board meeting for board trustees to approve. So that's the protocol. This is the policy. So I'm glad that we have parents here, and later when I host the parents information session with our incoming parents, I'll explain that procedure again. So thank you. And we hope we are looking, we need the board trustees to approve these policies. So we have this in our system.
Thank you for that initial description. Trustees, what questions or observations come to mind? I know, Dr. Smith, you are involved with this with the school that you operate as well. And but the policy then is to follow Ed Code, with the caveat that there are exceptions, but we can't really make exceptions till we know the individual children for some period of time. So that's the overview. What trustees, what other questions or maybe thoughts you have on this?
Right, and just clarification, it is true that we need to enroll the learners in the students in their appropriate age, but there can be a process of assessment, but that does take time to be able to do that prior to discussion for any kind of a grade advancement.
Thank you for that experience and confirmation. Any others thoughts on this? Then what I'll do is look for a motion to adopt the policy as written by Principal Chong. Would somebody like to make that motion?
I would like to make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee Miller-Zhang. And second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. All in favor then signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion passes. Thank you for that insight and work, Principal Chong. Is great. Next,
Item, let me see. Hold on. Let me pull the screen.
give you a chance to thank you. Next, number 3 on our consent calendar is approval of LEA assurances. I think that one would be best described by Superintendent Scott for us. And could you unpack the acronym LEA? It's not law enforcement agency. That's a whole different thing.
Sure. We are the LEA, Learning
Local education
Educational
assurances.
Yes. our school is responsible for its students as far as special education needs. And to accomplish that, you're required to be part of a SELPA, Special Education Local Area Planning, SELPA. And that one for us is going to be the Los Angeles Charter County SELPA. They are asking for assurances. We have these already created in our petition. It's the same things that we believe in. Every student is entitled to a free and appropriate public education. That's what FAPE means. These assurances must be approved by the board for the SELPA to consider our membership. I have spoken already with 2 other charter schools that joined the SELPA. They gave it glowing reports. They are in Los Angeles, which is a lot closer than any other SELPAs. And it helps their administrators will come and help us to be sure our procedures are in place as we provide services.
Wonderful. Let's hear from some trustees then on either questions, clarifications, or comments on our SELPA partnership we're going to seek, and in particular that we're making these assurances, which are legal assurances we have to make anyway. But questions or thoughts from our trustees?
Being a part of this, we're also looking at hiring then resource specialists for this.
That's a great question. We might hire, or we would contract with Effectual Education, which is a group that provides services.
Okay.
We won't know what to do until we have the documents from the students to see if they have any special education IEPs, individual education plans, and what their needs are.
When will you see those? Will you see those after enrollment or prior to enrollment?
When the students enroll, I mean, they've enrolled in one respect, that they've sent in DocuSign affirming their enrollment. The district asks us for that. But we're going to ask for all their paperwork to be transferred when we find out after they filled out the paperwork. Then the school district will send us that paperwork. So we're really waiting for July 1st so we have a place to put all the paperwork. We don't want it to go in my garage.
No,
No, and there's
that's right. Nope. Got to have that in those fireproof safes. Yep.
Dr. Smith pointed out accurately, they're contained in a fireproof safe by law.
Yeah.
It's pretty specialized. Any other trustee comments? That's a great conversation. Then the motion would be that we acknowledge as a board that we're committed to these LEA assurances. Could I have someone make that motion?
Yeah, Doug, I'll make the motion. This is Glenn.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Yeah, I will go for second.
Thank you. And then all in favor signify by raising a hand or saying aye. And
Aye.
Any opposed? And the assurance motion passes. Thank you.
By the way, just to update on the progress of this SELPA application, it is completed. It's being reviewed by our back office provider for accuracy and anything I needed to add. And then I'll be submitting that probably by Friday for a review from the SELPA itself.
Thank you. Next is approval of budget within our budget for Measure Education and Training. Michael Scott, would you be willing to share with us about the Measure Education? There we go.
Thank you for pulling that up. Is that Stephen?
Yes.
Appreciate it. Measure Education, everybody and their friend recommends. You know, I keep trying to think of how can I save money here? How can I save money there? But the ultimate thing we have to do is we have to be better than anybody else. A school district can afford mistakes. We can't. So Measure Education is going to help us with the training to be accurate in our ADA, our average daily attendance request, so that it's We get all the money we're entitled to. We don't ask for more. We don't ask for less. It's done exactly. More importantly, they're on their day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. And they begin training as soon as we can approve the contract and we have our staff in place. They'll begin training with us immediately. They're looking forward to it. So that is the point for measure education. It's to protect ourselves and do it right, especially in reporting CPADs, which is the reporting of all the demographics about our students, our low performing, our high performing. Every detail has to be squeezed out of our student information systems, and that's what they're going to help us do.
Thank you. I want to hear from trustees on this. Do they help us also with assessment? I know it sounds strange in Irvine, but low income, free and reduced meals, anything in that category?
I'm not sure about that, but it will come out in the information that we do reporting on.
If there's money tied to it, that's their specialty. This is our financial engine. They ensure that we're accurate and that we're never delayed on our payments from the state. So trustees, what other thoughts? Can you scroll down to give us a scope of annual cost?
Yeah, I think the annual cost for this is $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And the alternative would be to hire a full-time person to dedicate to this, to be sure it was done accurately, which would be triple the cost. So this is one of those things where actually we save money and we have better accuracy.
Very good. I just saw, yeah. As we're scrolling toward the cost page, other thoughts or comments? Anybody want to hear how this works then in conjunction with the student information system, measure education, they're familiar with probably the ARIES system and also the system that we're using.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is how we save $2,700 from Power School. They replace Power School in that respect.
Yep. Good, good.
So Doug, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to enable Stephen and Dr. Scott to set up a contract with Measure Education, irrespective of whether we use ARIES or use the other student system?
Because it involves a contract, we want to have board have the opportunity to see the contract, then approve going forward. This one's beyond research and negotiation. They've done that. This one, the superintendent's asking for us to approve entering into the contract. It is key to our financial engine. It's like the insurance policy that we get paid correctly and on time.
Yeah, and make sure we do our ADA appropriately because we will be audited.
Right.
Yeah, this will save us so much trouble.
Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions from trustees? I have one final question. We're operating currently within a budget that reflects startup school year. Our approved budget within the pro forma that Athena made for us that we presented to Orange County Board of Education has multiple years of budget. Is this cost still within the limits of that budget? I would imagine it, but I just thought I would ask the question. Are we asking for new spending, or hey, we're just confirming this because we're going to enter a contract before we actually start the school year?
Yes, this is part of the budget that was written by Athena that works with our 9,000 ADA. So, and it goes year to year as part of the expenses of operating the school. Again,
that's what I want.
It replaces having to hire somebody to do it.
That's what I wanted the board to hear because it's not new invented spending, but its timing is before we have to do the contract before we actually start the year. So with that in mind, could I have a trustee make the motion to allow our superintendent to move forward with the measure education consulting contract?
Yes, I make a motion to allow Dr. Scott, our superintendent, to continue finalizing the measure education contract.
Thank you. Could I have a second, please?
Yeah, I will second.
Thank you for that. Then all in favor signify by lifting hand or saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The measure moves forward. No pun intended there. Everybody caught that. It was a little bit of a joke, a little pun. Anyway, moving forward then to number 5. Who would like to tell us about a wonderful, not by name, because I don't think we've asked for permission, but the wonderful leadership demonstrated by a parent and the donation. When we receive donations, singular or in a group, we do approve them as a board. We have the ability to reject a donation as well. So who'd like to tell us the story here? This is exciting.
I can, Stephen, unless you'd like to.
I don't know this at all.
Okay. Our website has a giving page. And thanks to Glenn, they spent a lot of time working with the bank and checking the systems for accuracy. And I know Glenn has put in several times $10 to check the system. Well, now that it's ready for the parents, we had our first official gift from a parent for $500 to help the school. And that went into our accounts. We're all excited because it all starts with the first one. And now that we know the system works, as we begin to roll out our fundraising for the year, we have a lot of confidence moving forward that the school is going to work financially.
Thank you. I will add to that comment. I want to say thank you to the parent, not having met them yet, to my knowledge. But what great confidence builder for us, and also generosity. I'll point out that for all that our board members are volunteer board members who have a passion for education, in particular this charter school, and each in their various ways has contributed more than time, but actually financially in gift in kind or direct contributions as well. And so while it is not a requirement to give to this school to be part of it, that is not a requirement. It is a free charter school. We welcome partnership like this. And these are tax deductible donations. We're a 501c3 organization. And wow, we didn't expect this, but we're grateful for it. Could I have a motion to accept our very first parent donation as given?
Yes, Doug, I motion it.
Thank you, Trustee Rogers. And a second, please.
I will second.
Okay.
Okay, I think everybody wanted a second. We'll credit Dr. Smith on this one. All in favor then of receiving or accepting that donation signify by lifting hand or saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion passes. It's consented to. And that brings us to number 6, to approve a purchase. And I know I want to just say this. Sometimes it seems at this time in our history, maybe a little bit granular to have board approval for small purchases, but just know when we move into the actual beginning of our school year, many of the budget items are just in a single consent. But at this stage in our development, we're talking about rather small things, somewhat de minimis, but yet it's what law requires us to do. And so would someone like to describe the necessity of a Zoom account? Since we're on a Zoom account.
I know many parents are waiting for more information from me or Dr. Scott. So for that to take place, we'll need a Zoom account that can host more than 200, 300 participants. So that's why I'm asking our board to approve the purchase of a Zoom account that can host 500 guests.
Thank you. Just as you said it, then could we have a motion to approve the purchase of the purchase of the Zoom account as described by? Oh no, let's have discussion first. I'm sorry, I just jumped to that. Any discussion? Without discussion, then could I have a motion to approve the purchase of the Zoom account?
I make a motion that we purchase a Zoom account that will suffice for our school.
Thank you. And I haven't had an opportunity to second, and I'm certainly for this since we're already using the account. Then let's take a vote. All in favor signify by lifting a hand or signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Then consented to, and thank you for bringing that to our attention and showing some leadership and getting us started out of necessity, since in-person meetings are not exactly possible at the moment, but they certainly will be in the future. Takes us to number 7, and is that one that Dr. Scott would discuss with us? It's a grant application?
Yes. One of our parents, Marilla Espinoza, brought to my attention there was a $750 grant available to help starting and fund libraries. And of course, we have this great school with lots of shelves and no books. And especially Mandarin titled books for reading. Any school that succeeds needs a tremendous library. That's just a hand-in-hand fact. So the best part of this was her initiative to find a source that would help our school. And then she was willingly stepped up and wrote the grant. And it was such an excellent professional job. I was completely blown away by it. And I approached her and I said, I'd love for you to help me with some other grants that I have in mind. So she's going to get back to me about that. It is something she's good at. So this is the beginning. Like you said, Doug, we have to start somewhere. This is the beginning of a lot of grants and new opportunities our parents will bring to us, even as just the school is. When we were starting, the school district, for some reason, insisted they had no classroom space. But parents who lived in the community says, wait a minute, there's a school empty over here, or underutilized, maybe that's a better word, more correct. And here's another school that's underutilized. And that's how we were able to find our current school site. So I can't say enough about the importance of parents giving us heads up on opportunities for the school.
And you mentioned this was Mrs. Espinoza?
Yes.
With a Z-A or an S-A at the end, do you remember?
I think it's Z-A.
Good, because I just wanted to say a thank you on the chat line there appropriately. Comments from our trustees.
Yeah, I just want to comment in that part of a school is the only thing that really makes that effective is the partnership with our families and our parents. The school in itself is in partnership to bring the best education to your learner, but the partnership of we know how much you love and care for your children, and we do as well. But we all need to work together to make sure that that learner is successful. So partnerships in all aspects of a school are so vital and important. So thank you, parents, for your partnership.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other trustee comments on the library or book grant? Michael, how would you like this motion phrased? Would it be to commend Mrs. Espinosa for her leadership and to be prepared to receive the grant for the purpose of library?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay, who'd like to make that motion then?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And second, please.
Doug, I'll second it.
Thank you. And so then all in favor signify by raising a hand or saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? And consented to. Thank you for that each. We're nearing the end of our time together. However, there's going to be at least one parent comment, which will be really neat. And we probably will have the opportunity, we don't always have the opportunity to comment or answer back, but as often as we can, we will. Any board recommendations for our superintendent or principal, any items you want to bring to their attention or ask them to be looking into? That's how I feel too. They're doing an excellent job and they're proactive. They're ahead of this board and yet keeping us adequately informed, which I really appreciate, especially the documents, receiving them ahead of time. I think each of us at our own pace like to peruse those and come into the board meeting prepared. So thank you for those emails that inform us. Let's move into public comments. And I want to invite Donna Lee. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Would you like to address the board verbally? Give you one more. Oh, here we go. Oh, only by chat. Go ahead. Form your question in chat and then I'll restate it. And we'll see if we can get insight from our team here. Thank you. Take your time. Write it out on the chat. Once again, I think on behalf of the board, I want to again thank parents. For a school our size to have the number of people that watch this meeting later on and then take the time to watch it live is outstanding. So thank you for the participation and the interest. It's really pretty great. When you see the question pop up, Principal Chong, just let me know.
Her question is that, is it on the agenda today to discuss whether the school will start with 50-50 or 80-20 model? That's her question. And I know other parents would like to know this, and not every parent is here on our board meeting. So as I share with other parents on the Facebook group, that we will have an information session on Friday afternoon, this coming Friday afternoon.
Okay.
So that I can answer these questions with all parents there. And the reason why I haven't shared a link is because I need the approval from our board to purchase the Zoom link. That's why I'm waiting a little.
Those 500 people. Yeah.
So that's the reason. Then after, thank you board for approving that, then I'll be able to send a Zoom link to all of our parents. And I can address the questions there.
Okay, so you'll get more in depth on that Zoom call out Q&A, because she follows up with her intention, which is we want as much Mandarin as possible, and I understand that. So it's good to hear that kind of reflection. Then you can, from your experience, talk about the start of our school, because it could be differentiated at grade levels. I don't know that, but you certainly do with experience. So we certainly are trusting in that. Thank you, Donna Lee. That was just wonderful. I'm sure if you're asking, there's another 50 with the same question. Anything else from board members before we make a motion for adjournment, or Superintendent or Principal Chong? I'm going to give you a moment. Never like to hang up the phone, so to speak, without that opportunity. Well, it is nearing the Great 8 on the NCAA basketball championships, and I know there's 2 games on tonight. I don't want to, use that, but it's been a great board meeting. Could I have a motion then for adjournment?
I motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. A second, please.
Yep.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Well, then all in favor of adjournment, please signify by raising a hand or saying aye.
Aye.
And it carries. Once again, thank you, everybody, and thank you to parents. This will bring our recorded meeting to a close, and I'll allow Principal Chong to close the room within a couple minutes, or within not too long, but I'm going to go ahead and hop off the call. Everybody, have a great week.
Thank you. I'll stop recording. Thank you.